Welcome to Calm Night Stories, where tonight we drift together into a world of gentle waves, soft as starlight, and the serene sway of a floating cabin on a calm night ocean. And as you listen, as you settle into this story, you may feel the quieter movement of the water beneath your feet, the faint scent of salt and wood in the air, the warm glow of the cabin reflecting across the endless surface. And in this moment, there is no need to hurry, no need to think, no need to be anything other than present, breathing slowly, listening deeply, allowing yourself to merge with the stillness and the gentle rhythm of the night as the stars above trace long, silent paths across the sky and the ocean stretches outward in every direction, infinite, unbroken, embracing you in calm that feels both vast and intimate, carrying you slowly, endlessly, into a state of quiet, effortless presence. And as the cabin floats gently on the endless dark water, each subtle sway carrying you without effort, without awareness of time, the ocean becomes a mirror for the sky, reflecting the soft silver glow of the moon and the faint, delicate twinkle of distant stars. And as you watch, you notice how every ripple carries light in a way that is never the same twice, yet somehow feels familiar, soothing, like a pattern your mind recognizes even without thinking, while the cabin itself, made of warm, polished wood, radiates a quiet glow that mixes with the starlight and reflects softly across the water, creating moving lines and shapes that seem alive, shifting slowly with every gentle movement of the hull. And as your gaze drifts from the distant horizon to the reflections beneath the cabin, you feel a subtle pull, a sense of being carried by the ocean, not physically, but within yourself, as though your awareness is floating alongside the cabin, merging with the water, the air, the calm night, the rhythm of the small waves lapping softly against the wooden walls, so quiet you can almost hear the heartbeat of the night itself. And in this deep, uninterrupted stillness, every thought slows, every tension eases, every breath aligns naturally with the gentle sway, until you no longer notice the passing of time, and the world feels as though it has melted into a single, continuous moment, full of light, warmth, and the soft, endless motion of the calm ocean surrounding your floating sanctuary. And as you step onto the small deck, feeling the subtle give of the cabin beneath your weight, the night seems to expand around you in ways that are both quiet and immense, the horizon stretching endlessly in every direction, softened by the gentle mist of the ocean and illuminated by the faint glow of moonlight bouncing across rippling waves. And you notice how even the air itself seems to breathe with the water, carrying a faint, briny scent mixed with the warmth of the wooden cabin, enveloping you in a cocoon of calm, while the soft sounds of movement, water against hull, wind whispering across the deck, the occasional creak of timber settling, become a rhythmic lullaby, a continuous effortless song that carries your mind slowly away from thought. And as you lean against the railing, watching the silver lines of light stretching toward infinity, your body feels lighter, yet more anchored at the same time, held by the gentle embrace of the cabin and the slow sway of the ocean, until you realize that there is no need to move, no need to speak, no need to do anything at all, because everything you could ever want or need exists in this precise, unbroken moment of calm. And as your awareness spreads to include the stars above, the reflected paths in the water, the soft glow of the cabin, and the gentle sway beneath you, It feels as if all boundaries between you and the night ocean dissolve, leaving only a serene, infinite presence that is both outside and within. And as the hours stretch slowly into the night, unmeasured, unbroken, the cabin continues to float, every small movement a whisper that harmonizes with the rhythm of the ocean, while the moon arcs imperceptibly across the sky, its reflection rippling with the gentle waves, creating a fluid, moving tapestry of silver and black, and the warm glow of the cabin blends softly with these reflections, casting faint shadows on the deck and walls, softening the edges of the night. And as you sit back wrapped in a blanket, listening to the quiet music of water and wind, you notice how even the smallest details, the subtle flicker of a lamp, the faint shimmer of stars reflected on the water, the occasional brush of a light breeze become magnified, rich with texture and depth, each sensation blending seamlessly into the next, carrying your awareness deeper and deeper into the calm, until even the sense of yourself as a separate being begins to soften, and the ocean, the cabin, the night sky, and your own consciousness feel as though they are part of a single, continuous, serene flow, without beginning, without end, without effort, without need. And as the night deepens further, the horizon blurs into an infinite grey blue, where water and sky meet in a gentle, unbroken line, and the cabin floats like a small island of warmth and light, a beacon of calm in the vast stillness, while the stars rotate slowly above, leaving long, graceful trails in the sky, mirrored by the dancing, shifting reflections across the water. And as you observe, your awareness begins to merge with this rhythm, softening, spreading across the small deck, across the cabin, across the surrounding water, until you no longer feel the edges of your body or the separation between inside and outside, between movement and stillness, between thought and being, and the only thing left is the gentle, unbroken pulse of the ocean, the soft sway of the floating cabin, the quiet glow of light, and the subtle, infinite presence of calm, carrying you, cradling you, and allowing you to rest fully in a way that feels completely effortless, completely natural, completely safe. And as this calm expands, stretching outward into the night in all directions, the cabin becomes more than a structure. It becomes a sanctuary, a vessel not just for your body, but for your awareness, for your breath, for your thoughts, which now drift lightly, dissipating into the rhythm of the ocean itself, while the air, thick with salt and soft with moisture, moves gently across your skin, carrying with it a faint, almost imperceptible whisper of distant waves, distant winds, distant horizons. And as you lean back against the wooden railing, your blanket wrapped snugly around your shoulders, you notice the way the moonlight stretches across the water in long, trembling ribbons of silver, each one slightly different, yet all part of the same quiet, endless motion. And in that motion, in that gentle sway, in that luminous soft reflection of night and ocean, you feel yourself dissolving slowly into presence, into calm, into the gentle, unbroken heartbeat of the night, until even awareness of the passage of time fades, leaving only the soft, infinite continuity of the ocean, the cabin, the stars, and your serene, unshakable, resting self. And as the first hints of the deep, quiet night settle fully around the floating cabin, the gentle sway beneath you feels less like movement and more like a subtle rhythm that has always existed, something you are now a part of, as the waves ripple outward in patterns that seem both random and precise, each tiny crest catching the silver moonlight for a fleeting moment before folding back into darkness. While inside, the warmth of the cabin continues to radiate softly, comforting, stabilizing, blending with the quiet, infinite motion of the ocean. And as you settle onto the small deck or into a rocking chair, letting the gentle sway carry your awareness deeper and deeper, the stars above and their reflections below merge into a single, vast, shimmering canvas. And for a long time, it is impossible to tell where sky ends and water begins, where your body ends and the cabin begins, where breath begins, and the night ocean itself flows into your consciousness. And in that merging, in that soft, continuous, unbroken flow of light, motion, warmth, and presence, you find a peace so deep it almost feels eternal. A calm that holds everything, asks nothing, moves nothing, and carries you fully into the gentle embrace of sleep, rocking slowly on the calm night ocean beneath your floating cabin, as the world beyond ceases to exist, replaced entirely by the serene, infinite now. And as the night drifts further, stretching endlessly across the horizon, the floating cabin continues its gentle motion, each subtle sway a soft lullaby that moves through your entire body, your awareness expanding to include not just the warmth of the cabin and the cool embrace of the surrounding ocean, but also the vast, infinite expanse of sky above, dotted with countless stars that trace slow, delicate arcs across the heavens, mirrored perfectly in the silvered ripples of water below, creating a seamless, infinite loop of light and motion. And as you stand at the deck railing, feeling the soft pulse of waves beneath your feet, you realize that the calm is no longer something outside of you. It is something that flows through you, something that has merged with your breath, your heartbeat, your very presence, until even the edges of self begin to blur, becoming one with the gentle rhythm of the night, the quiet sway of the cabin, and the endless shimmering reflections that stretch into infinity. And in this soft merging, the air feels alive yet impossibly gentle, carrying the faint briny scent of the ocean and the subtle warmth of the cabin wood, each inhalation drawing it deep into your chest, each exhalation releasing tension you may not have known you carried, while the stars above seem to pulse ever so slightly in time with the waves, their distant light flickering across the deck and cabin walls, painting long, delicate shadows that sway in harmony with the gentle motion beneath you. And you notice how even the smallest sounds, the quiet creak of timber, the soft whisper of water against hull, the occasional flutter of a distant seabird or far-off wave, become magnified, transformed into a symphony of calm that carries you ever deeper into presence, deeper into awareness, until all that remains is the serene, unbroken flow of this night, this cabin, this ocean, and yourself intertwined. And as hours continue their imperceptible passage, you may find yourself seated on the deck, wrapped in a thick blanket that smells faintly of smoke and salt, your hands resting gently on the warm wood of the railing, and the moonlight spills across the water in trembling silver ribbons that stretch endlessly toward the horizon, each one subtly different, yet forming part of a seamless, living pattern that feels both infinite and intimately close, while the cabin itself glows softly from within, light spilling through the windows, blending with the reflected moonlight in a way that seems almost magical, almost sacred, a sanctuary of warmth, movement, and light in the vast quiet of the ocean night. And as your awareness continues to expand, you feel less anchored to any single point, less tethered to the physical cabin or the deck beneath your feet, and more like a presence floating freely, carried gently by the ocean's pulse, embraced by the rhythm of stars and water, held entirely by the night itself. And as the night deepens into near complete darkness, with only the faint shimmer of distant starlight and the gentle silver glow of the moon to guide your eyes, the cabin seems to become both a part of the ocean and a quiet refuge within it, its warmth a soft counterpoint to the cool, expansive water around you, while your breathing slows naturally, effortlessly, sinking almost instinctively with the tiny swells that rock the cabin. And as each moment stretches into the next, there is a feeling of timelessness, of eternity captured in the gentle sway of wood on water, the faint shimmer of light across rippling waves, the soft, embracing warmth within the cabin, until all concepts of past and future dissolve, leaving only the infinite, serene now, in which you rest fully unburdened and entirely present. And now, as the night seems to breathe as one with you, the cabin and the ocean, you begin to notice how even thought itself has become soft, almost imperceptible, drifting lightly like distant clouds across the calm expanse of your mind and the boundaries between inside and outside, between the solid warmth of the cabin and the liquid expanse of the ocean, between your body, your consciousness, and the night sky above, begin to blur until all that remains is a single continuous presence that flows unbroken through every particle of your awareness, every ripple of the ocean, every faint glimmer of starlight, every subtle sway of the floating cabin, carrying you gently, endlessly, as if the entire universe has slowed to this exact heartbeat, this perfect rhythm of calm. And in this state, your awareness drifts even further, expanding beyond the cabin itself, beyond the small deck, beyond the immediate swells beneath you, until it feels as though you are floating among the stars, reflected endlessly in the rippling water, carried by the quiet, imperceptible waves, moving in harmony with the pulse of the moon and the subtle rotations of the distant constellations. And as you sink deeper into this sensation, the warmth of the cabin remains a soft, constant anchor, grounding you, holding you, comforting you, while your mind, your body, and your breath dissolve into one gentle, unbroken flow of night, ocean, light, and presence, until it feels as though even awareness itself has merged completely with the calm, with the sway, with the quiet eternity of this floating, luminous world. And as the final hours of the night unfold without distinction, the cabin, the ocean, the stars, and your own presence become a single, unbroken continuum, a soft, infinite tapestry of warmth, motion, light, and calm. And you feel yourself carried, cradled, and suspended in a gentle rhythm that has no beginning and no end, while the reflections of moonlight across the water stretch endlessly toward horizons you cannot see, each one shimmering like a silver thread woven into the infinite. And inside the cabin, the glow remains steady, soft, warm, unchanging, a quiet contrast to the infinite subtle movement of the ocean beneath. And as you settle fully into the gentle embrace of the blanket, the rocking of the cabin, the hush of the night, you realize that nothing can disturb this moment, nothing can break it, nothing can intrude upon this perfect, serene flow. and all that exists is this infinite calm, this gentle, endless rocking, this quiet, unwavering light, this soft, uninterrupted rhythm of ocean, cabin, sky, and presence, all intertwined. And as the first hint of dawn begins to whisper across the horizon, it is so subtle, so delicate that you barely notice it, yet it blends seamlessly into the silvered ripples, the glowing cabin, the faint fading stars, and the still swaying hull beneath your feet, and you realize that even the coming of light cannot disrupt this state, cannot intrude upon this calm, because the entire night, the entire ocean, the entire floating world and your own consciousness have merged into one continuous, timeless presence, and as you drift ever deeper, fully surrendered, fully present, fully at peace, you feel carried, rocked, and held by the calm itself. Unbroken, unending, complete, infinite, until the gentle lullaby of night, ocean, cabin, and self carries you into the deepest, most serene restorative sleep you have ever known, rocking slowly, endlessly, on the calm night ocean beneath your floating cabin. In as the night deepens once more, the floating cabin continues its endless, gentle sway, each imperceptible motion carrying you softly through the water, while the moon casts a silver glow across the ocean surface that shimmers in long, undulating ribbons, stretching infinitely toward horizons unseen. And you feel as though the world has folded in upon itself, merging the sky, the ocean, and the cabin into one continuous breathing presence, while your own awareness dissolves further into the gentle rhythm, the faint creak of timber beneath your weight, the whisper of water lapping softly against the hull. And in this merging, in this infinite and unbroken flow of calm, you feel entirely suspended, held, cradled by the serene pulse of the night, which moves without urgency, without effort, carrying everything along in perfect, effortless harmony. And in the quietest moments, when even the sway of the cabin seems to slow to near stillness, the stars above reflect across the glassy surface of the water in subtle, trembling points of light, creating paths that lead your gaze outward across infinite space and silent, undisturbed waves. And you notice how even the faintest sounds, the distant splash of a fish, the soft flutter of a night breeze, the gentle hum of water against hull, become magnified in your awareness, each one a delicate note in the endless soothing symphony of ocean, night, and float owl sanctuary, carrying your mind further from thought, deeper into presence, until every sense is absorbed by the calm, until every breath, every heartbeat, every subtle sway of wood on water feels like a natural, unbroken extension of the ocean itself, infinite, steady, and serene. And as hours pass without measurement, the cabin glows softly from within, a warm golden beacon against the dark, expansive ocean, while the silver light of the moon stretches across the water in trembling, elongated reflections, each one alive with gentle movement, and you feel your consciousness stretch with it, softening, expanding, dissolving the boundaries between inside and outside, between self and night, until the only thing that exists is the rhythm, the calm, the sway, the light, and the infinite, tender embrace of the floating cabin on the endless ocean, where nothing intrudes, nothing demands, nothing interrupts, and every fiber of your being is absorbed into this continuous, gentle, unbroken serenity. And in these hours, you may feel the subtle, almost imperceptible temperature of the air against your skin, the faint, briny scent of the ocean mingling with the warmth of the cabin wood, the soft vibration of water against hull beneath your body, and each tiny detail becomes a portal into deeper presence, carrying you further along the silent current of calm that flows through the night, past the horizon, past the reflected moonlight, past the faint, trembling shimmer of distant stars, until even the notion of distance disappears, leaving only the expansive, infinite now, in which your body, your mind, the cabin, and the ocean move as one, steady, gentle, and unbroken. And as the night stretches onward, unmeasured, unbroken, the gentle pulse of waves beneath the cabin seems to align with your own heartbeat, each rise and fall of the water reflecting back as a soft echo within yourself. And the cabin becomes less a structure and more a vessel of consciousness, carrying you across the calm, starlit ocean, rocking you, cradling you, blending seamlessly with the gentle, infinite rhythm of the night. And as your awareness continues to dissolve into this infinite flow, every thought softens, every tension fades, every sense of separate existence melts into the quiet, vast presence of calm, until you realize there is nothing to do, nowhere to go, nothing to hold, nothing to resist, only the endless tender embrace of the night ocean, the floating cabin, and your serene, unbroken self, drifting endlessly, gently, peacefully. And as the night continues its silent rotation above the floating cabin, the gentle sway beneath your feet becomes a soft, rhythmic heartbeat that carries through every fiber of your being, blending with the faint whispers of wind across the deck, the quiet ripple of water against the hull, and the distant shimmer of moonlight on the endless ocean, creating a symphony of calm that moves slowly through your awareness, softening every thought, every tension, every sense of separation, until all that remains is the gentle, unbroken flow of ocean, cabin, sky, and presence. And as you lean lightly against the railing, feeling the subtle give of the wood beneath your hands, the warmth of the blanket around your shoulders, the quiet embrace of the cabin glowing softly from within, you realize that this moment is eternal, infinite, unmeasured, a delicate suspension of time and space where everything and nothing exist simultaneously, carried gently on the tender pulse of the night ocean. And in the stillness, the reflections of moonlight stretch like silver ribbons across the rippling water, moving imperceptibly with each small swell. And you notice how even the tiniest movement, each subtle rise and fall of the cabin, each faint glimmer of light reflecting on the waves, each whisper of air brushing across your skin, becomes a delicate note in the endless soothing melody of this night, a melody that guides your awareness deeper into the serene flow of the ocean, until it feels as if the boundaries between your body, your mind, the cabin, the water, and the night sky have dissolved entirely, leaving only a soft, infinite presence that carries you effortlessly, gently, endlessly. And as hours pass without measure, the cabin glows steadily, the warm light from within merging with the silvered reflections outside, creating a luminous cocoon of safety, stillness, and calm, while the stars above rotate imperceptibly, leaving long, delicate arcs across the heavens that mirror the subtle, flowing patterns of light on the water. And as you sit or recline on the deck, wrapped in the soft embrace of the blanket, every thought softens, every tension melts, every part of you drifts into alignment with the gentle sway beneath you, until even the sensation of being separate from the night ocean fades, leaving only the unbroken, infinite presence of calm that holds you completely, softly, and without interruption. And in these hours, you may notice the subtle changes of the night, the faint shift of temperature in the air, the gentle touch of a soft breeze carrying the scent of salt and wood, the whisper of waves against a hull. But none of these disrupt the deep, steady calm. Instead, each detail enhances it. Each sensation becomes a thread in the continuous, unbroken tapestry of presence that flows through the cabin, the ocean, the night sky, and your own awareness, carrying you ever deeper into stillness, into surrender, into the gentle, infinite rhythm of this floating sanctuary. And as the night stretches onward, vast, unmeasured, unbroken, your awareness drifts further, merging with the pulse of the ocean, the sway of the cabin, the shimmer of moonlight across the water, the soft glow within the cabin itself, until you are no longer merely seated on the deck or reclining inside. You are part of the flowing rhythm, a presence moving with the night, carried by gentle waves, held by the warm light, embraced by infinite calm, as if the entire universe has slowed to a single serene heartbeat that carries you softly, endlessly, gently into a state of unshakable peace. And as the first hints of approaching dawn begin to whisper across the horizon, so subtle and delicate that you almost do not notice, the floating cabin remains suspended in its gentle sway, the soft, warm light from within blending seamlessly with the silver and gold of the awakening sky, while the ocean stretches infinitely around you, still, calm, and serene, reflecting the earliest hints of sunlight in trembling ribbons across the rippling surface. And as you lean back, allowing the gentle rocking to carry your awareness, you notice how the stars fade softly, how the water glimmers with the faintest hints of color, how even the faintest sounds, the whisper of waves, the creak of timber, the breath of wind, become part of a continuous unbroken symphony of calm. And in this perfect, expansive, eternal moment, your consciousness merges fully with the cabin, the ocean and the night, and the gentle rhythm of the universe itself seems to carry every part of you into the softest, deepest, most restorative state of presence. And as the sun rises gradually, painting the horizon in soft strokes of gold and pale rose, the cabin continues its gentle sway on the calm ocean, now illuminated by warm light that touches every surface, every ripple, every reflection, while your awareness drifts effortlessly with the waves, merging with the light, the warmth, the gentle pulse of water beneath you, until it feels as if you are both inside the cabin and part of the ocean itself, a single, continuous, infinite presence of warmth, light, motion, and serenity. And every breath you take, every heartbeat, every subtle sway of the hull beneath your body, every whisper of air across your skin, flows seamlessly into this endless, unbroken, and infinitely soothing rhythm. And as the hours continue unmeasured, the cabin and ocean move as one, carrying you through infinite cycles of motion, reflection, warmth, and calm. And you notice how even your thoughts have softened into drifting clouds, insubstantial, gentle, barely there, merging with the subtle, continuous rhythm of water, wood, and sky, until every sense, every perception, every part of you is held in the tender, infinite, serene embrace of the floating cabin on the calm night ocean, and you feel completely cradled, completely safe, completely present, carried without effort into a state of perfect, uninterrupted rest. And as the world continues its slow, imperceptible rotation, the gentle rocking of the cabin, the soft glow of the interior, the subtle shimmering reflections across the water, the faint, tender pulse of the night, the infinite expanse of sky above, and the quiet, endless presence of the ocean merge into one continuous, flowing, serene presence that holds you entirely, that carries you gently, endlessly, tenderly. And as you drift deeper, fully surrendered, fully relaxed, fully absorbed into the infinite rhythm of night, ocean, and cabin, you realize that nothing else exists, nothing else is needed, nothing can intrude, for all that matters is this soft, infinite flow of calm, rocking slowly, endlessly, carrying you into the deepest, most restorative, and most peaceful sleep imaginable, wrapped in warmth, embraced by light, and carried across the calm night ocean beneath your floating cabin. And as the gentle night drifts on, the floating cabin continues to rock softly, each small movement carrying you further into the infinite rhythm of ocean and sky. And you notice how every ripple, every whisper of water against the hull, every faint flicker of starlight reflecting on the waves feels like a personal lullaby, a continuous song that moves through your mind, your body, and your awareness, softening, slowing, dissolving every tension until all that remains is the gentle, unbroken flow of calm that stretches endlessly across the horizon, infinite and tender, holding you completely, cradling you in presence, while the warm glow of the cabin radiates softly, blending seamlessly with the subtle silver shimmer of the moonlit water, until the boundaries between inside and outside, self and ocean, cabin and night sky, disappear entirely. And as the hours continue without measure, the floating cabin seems to become part of the ocean itself, moving with it, swaying with it, breathing with it, while the stars above create long, delicate arcs across the heavens, mirrored in trembling silver ribbons on the water below. And you realize that every element, the warmth of the cabin, the rocking motion of the hull, the soft reflections of light, the distant whisper of waves, the faint caress of air against your skin, blends into a single continuous presence, an unbroken, infinite calm that moves with you, through you, as though you and the night ocean are one, and every breath, every heartbeat, every subtle sway of the cabin beneath you flows naturally with this rhythm, endlessly, effortlessly, tenderly. And in this deep, unbroken calm, your awareness drifts further, merging with the ocean and the stars above, until even the cabin itself becomes more than a structure. It becomes a vessel of consciousness, carrying you across an endless, luminous expanse, while the soft, golden glow within touches every surface, every reflection, every ripple, blending perfectly with the silver light of moon and stars, creating a seamless, infinite cocoon of warmth, light, motion, and serene presence. And as you recline or sit on the deck, wrapped in the blanket, you feel every subtle detail, the sway, the warmth, the faint sounds, the distant shimmer, infusing you with calm, softening every thought, easing every tension, carrying you gently, effortlessly into the deepest state of presence imaginable. And as the night stretches onward, unmeasured, unbroken, the gentle rocking of the cabin, the soft reflections across the water, the distant trembling light of stars, and the quiet, infinite presence of the ocean merge seamlessly with your own awareness, until even the edges of self dissolve entirely, leaving only the tender, infinite flow of calm, moving slowly through you, through the cabin, across the night, across the endless water, carrying you further and further into serene presence until the gentle rhythm becomes a part of you, as natural as breathing, as effortless as existing, as continuous as the motion of the stars themselves. And as this calm deepens, you may feel yourself float out lightly, not just on the deck, not just inside the cabin, but within the rhythm itself, carried gently by the rocking hull, the swaying ocean, the subtle shimmer of moonlight and stars, while the warm glow of the cabin radiates softly through your awareness, anchoring you in safety, presence, and unbroken calm. And in this moment, there is no need for thought, no need for movement, no need for anything beyond simply being carried, simply existing, simply resting, while every subtle sound, every gentle motion, every faint reflection blends together in one continuous, infinite flow that moves through your mind, your body, your soul, and the entire night ocean itself. And as the final hours of night stretch into the earliest hints of dawn, the floating cabin continues its gentle, endless sway on the calm, shimmering ocean, each subtle movement a soft, hypnotic pulse that travels through every fibre of your being, and the stars above, faint now against the growing light of approaching morning, trace slow, delicate arcs across the sky, mirrored perfectly in the trembling ribbons of silver and gold stretching across the water. And as you sit or recline, wrapped in the soft blanket, the warmth of the cabin blending with the cool, fresh air, every part of you begins to dissolve into this rhythm until even the sensation of a separate self fades, leaving only the continuous infinite presence of calm, motion, light and warmth, carrying you gently, endlessly, tenderly, across the silent, vast ocean. And as the golden light of dawn begins to spread across the horizon, it does so with a softness that does not disturb, with a gradual, almost imperceptible warmth that blends seamlessly with the silvered shimmer of the remaining night, and you notice how the subtle reflection of light on the waves shifts and stretches in long, gentle ribbons, creating an infinite dance of movement and illumination, while the cabin rocks softly beneath you, carrying you, cradling you, blending its gentle motion with the ocean, the sky, and your own consciousness, until every breath, every heartbeat, every whisper of wind, every ripple of water, every subtle sway of the hull beneath your feet becomes part of one seamless, unbroken flow of presence, infinite and tender, holding you completely in perfect, effortless calm. And as the world awakens slowly beyond the horizon, distant sounds of morning, perhaps a bird, perhaps a soft gust of wind, reach your awareness only as gentle accents, harmonizing with the rhythm of waves, the sway of the cabin, the shimmer of light, and the warmth of the interior, enhancing, not disturbing, the infinite calm that carries you deeper, further, into serene, restorative presence, where time itself seems to have softened, where space itself seems to have melted, where everything and nothing coexist, and where you are both entirely alone and yet entirely part of this vast, infinite, luminous, rocking world. And in these endless, tender hours, your mind drifts lightly, thoughts like clouds dissolving in the vast sky, tensions melting like ripples fading into the ocean, and your awareness expands gently to embrace the entire scene, the floating cabin, the soft rocking the warm glow, the silvered water, the faint breeze, the slowly brightening sky, the whisper of the night ocean, the first hints of dawn, and merges seamlessly with it until the boundaries between self, cabin, ocean, sky, and light dissolve completely, leaving only the continuous, infinite, tender presence that moves through all, holding all, being all, and carrying you effortlessly, endlessly, gently into the deepest, most serene, most restorative sleep. And as this infinite flow continues, unbroken, unmeasured, untethered, you may feel yourself drifting lightly above the deck, merging with the subtle pulse of the hull, the gentle sway of the ocean, the shimmer of light on water, until every part of your consciousness, every breath, every heartbeat, every sense of being is carried along by this continuous, unending flow, soft, tender, infinite, a lullaby of motion, light, warmth, and presence that has no beginning and no end, that moves through you as through the entire night ocean, and as you are carried along, all worries, all thoughts, all tension, all separation dissolve into the gentle, unbroken, infinite rhythm of floating, rocking, shimmering calm, and you sink fully, deeply, effortlessly into the most restorative, peaceful, eternal sleep you have ever known, held completely by the night ocean, the floating cabin, the soft glow of light, and the infinite, tender rhythm of presence itself, rocking you endlessly, gently, softly, into timeless serenity.